Hello, this is my video about intuition. And this video I'm gonna focus specifically on how to use your intuition in practical everyday life. So first, I would like to start with saying that intuition is this beautiful tool which you have and which you can use to your benefit. But also, if you never used it in your life and you're just learning this stuff, I would highly recommend to be cautious with that, have some respect to intuition, and really first test out the waters for you and start with smaller things before you get into the bigger things. Before you even start with intuition, I would recommend you try to look into your past and see if you ever used intuition in the past and if it worked out for you. Try to maybe write it down on a piece of paper and see how this intuition which you had was right, how it helped you in your life, and what was your life like based on this intuition. So maybe you had intuition about something, you followed it, and then your life went very smooth. And it was like a good decision and you felt really great about it. All these examples, write it down for yourself so that you will have an overview, the way you used intuition in your life and how it worked out, and you will see for yourself if it's good or bad for you, and you will see for yourself if you can rely on it or not. And also, try to look at the mechanics of that. In what form you received your intuition? What were the circumstances of that? Were you by yourself or were you with people? Did you receive it from out of nowhere? Did you receive it like it came in form of a thought, or did it come in form of some sign? Did it come in form of some feeling? Really try to distinguish it. But also be cautious about whether or not it's true intuition. Because if it comes in form of feeling, it can be just feeling, and this can be good or bad, and sometimes the feelings can be right and sometimes they can be wrong. But you're only gonna remember the times where you were right about something, but you're not gonna remember the times where you were wrong about something. So try to be really honest about this. What are some main strategies which I found on the internet which people use to use their intuition? And what is the strategy which I personally use? I think one of the strategies could be that people look for some kind of signs. They look outside and they try to perceive what is going on outside and see it as some kind of sign which they can translate to themselves. I personally don't use this way how to approach intuition. I am not really sure how specifically this works, but examples which I heard, and these examples were like a woman who would just go to the bookstore, pick up a random book, open it on a random page and read a random sentence, and there would be some message for her in this sentence. Or some person would go outside and they would see a flyer with concert of a band and they would never go there, but since they noticed it, they saw it as a sign, and so they went to this concert, and then something great happened there. Maybe they met somebody who was really like a future partner or something like that. I personally don't do this because I'm hesitant to it. I just feel like it's not working for me. But if this is something that would resonate with you, you can definitely try it. At first sight, it might seem a little strange. Like, how could this work that you could look at a sentence and have some intuition from that? But what I personally think is that it's not about the sentence at all. It's about what you project on the sentence. In psychology, there are these ink blot tests, like Rorschach test. If you ever saw that, it's really interesting in my opinion, because you basically will see like this ink blot and you are supposed to say what you see in there. In my opinion, it's not about the ink blot. It's about how you interpret it. And then there can be done some conclusions about you. It's not the same thing at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the mechanics of that is, for me, it's very similar to when you read these signs. It's not about the sign. It's not about the band flyer. It's about how you project something from you to it. And it could also be a way how your intuition manifests. As I said, I don't really understand the mechanics of that. It can seem a little strange at first sight, but it doesn't have to be that strange at all. I don't personally use this. So I have no direct experience with this. You would have to test this out for yourself. And then the other way, which I personally use, is the way that I listen to this sort of voice which just comes to me and tells me what to do. This might also seem a little strange, and I get it. But it's basically not something which I would approach lightly. It's something that I tested on myself, and I know that whenever I'm in some kind of deeper meditation and I have this burning question that I want to ask, I just asked the question out in the nowhere, and I just received the answer out of nowhere, and this answer is something like what I should do. I ask something like, should I move or not? And the answer tells me that, no, don't move, it's not a good time, or something like that. And when I listen to it, I noticed that everything in my life tends to go really smooth. It's like this quiet piece of wisdom which you're gonna receive, and it's like completely neutral, and it's just how you react to it. If you're gonna do it the same way how I do it, what I would recommend to you is that don't approach it in a way that you would already know what the voice is gonna tell you, or you would have some expectation about it, or you would want the voice to tell you something. You should be able to put yourself in a completely neutral state, as I am able to do this with my meditations, but you should be able to be like neutral and really wait for the answer, no matter what the answer is gonna be. So don't put any expectations on it, just wait for the answer. And then you can like get your feelings high and about it and really think what does it mean and if you are freaked out or not. But don't expect the answer to be a certain way, because you don't want to manipulate your intuition. You just want to receive whatever knowledge is there for you, and then you can have all your feelings about it. Maybe you're gonna tell me that this is like a crazy way how to do something like that, like I'm listening to some voice that appears out of nowhere. But if you think about it, it's very similar to your thinking process. Where do your thoughts come from? Did you ever think about it for yourself? They also appear out of nowhere. Like, where do your thoughts come from? And you still go and you just do what you are thinking, and you don't know where the thoughts even come from. And so it's not that crazy at all. I decided to make my own experiments with intuition because that's closely connected to my life. For example, when I was about to go for a ride with my bike, it was this one day where the sky was really cloudy. It was look like it's about to rain any minute, and normally I would just stay at home and didn't go. But this time I asked my intuition, should I go on this bike ride? And my intuition told me that yes, I should. And so I was a little bit hesitant because I felt like I'm just gonna catch a rain in the middle of nowhere, and I was kind of nervous about it. But I went on a bike and it was just all fine. Even more so, what happened after 20 minutes was that the sky completely cleared out and it was not raining at all. And if I just waited at home for the next 20 minutes, I would see that for myself. But it's just, to me, this was really interesting because what actually the intuition did, it just told me something which proved to be right because it didn't rain. And also, it made my life smoother because I would have to go back home, I would have to wait, maybe I would end up not going at all. And this way, I just was able to go and kind of trust my intuition. Another way how I verified my intuition was that I was trying this when I was in college and I was about to take an exam. And there was a week before the exam and I was really nervous. And I asked my intuition, will I make it? Will I do this exam or not? And my intuition told me that yes, I will. So I studied for it and I was really curious what's gonna happen, and I just went for the test and I did it. Already what you can see in there is that, unlike the weather example, this is not something that would be so clear and obvious, because when I trust my intuition and my intuition tells me it's gonna be fine, then what I do is that I relax, everything is fine, and I just study. So it could have been I had a positive attitude about this intuition and it helped me to get the grade. I don't know if I got the exam because of the intuition or just because I studied a lot, or because I trusted the intuition and it was like this placebo and I just relaxed and I did the exam because I relaxed and I was able to study more efficiently as a consequence of that. Another example I have is that when I had to travel to the city and I didn't want to go, it was like raining every day and I felt like it was going to be a hassle and I just didn't want to go. I had some chores there and some things to take care of and I just didn't want to go. And so I asked my intuition, when should I go? And my intuition told me that I should go on Monday. And I was thinking to myself, on Monday? Like, really? On Monday the train is going to be super overcrowded with all the people like coming back from the weekend. And I was thinking to myself, like, this is not a good idea. But anyway, I listened to the intuition. And what actually happened is that since the very morning, everything went so smoothly. I remember this day up until today because it was just mind-blowing to me. Everything fell into place exactly as it should. It was the first day after like 3 days when it was raining. It was the first day when it didn't rain. The sky was totally blue, the sun was shining, it was warm but not hot, the train wasn't packed at all, and everything went so nicely the entire day, and I just felt so great. It was just really beautiful day for me. It could have been coincidence, I don't know. I gotta be honest, I didn't have as much positive approach about it this time because I didn't want to go on Monday. I felt like it's gonna be really packed. The train is gonna be full. So I didn't have as much positive approach, but still, it's my interpretation. You don't have to believe me. There's always can be million other explanations than the intuition itself. So it's always up to your interpretation. Now there is probably your burning question, if you watched up until now, was I ever wrong about my intuition? And the answer is yes and no. Why yes? Yes, because there were some situations in which I wasn't able to use it efficiently. And this was a situation when I would be riding my bike and I would be like guessing what is gonna be the color of the car which is gonna pass me. I wasn't good at this at all. I was not able to guess the color at all. Also, when I would be going somewhere outside and I would see a person who would be really far away from me, I tried to guess, like, is this a man or a woman? Also, I was really bad at this. Like, totally bad. I tried to guess their age. Is this a young person? Like, is this somebody like in their 20s? Or is it somebody who's like older, like in their 70s or 80s or something like that, you know? Because they were really far away, I wasn't able to tell who that is at all. I just tried to sense that and kind of guess for myself who that is. And again, I wasn't successful at all in this. And so you might say the intuition didn't work. But also, I would say that these were situations in which I was getting a little bit calculative and a little bit manipulative with the intuition because I just wanted to have some tangible results. You know, I wanted to have something by which I would prove to myself that I can do this and I can guess all these things. But the truth is that I didn't have any personal connection to any of the situation. I didn't care at all what would be the color of the car which was passing me. I didn't care at all about the person who was going far away from me. I had no, interest in that. And so my intuition only worked when the topic which I was asking the intuition about was somehow important to me. But it didn't work at all where I was just manipulative about it a little bit and try to really be like this master and guessing for myself all these things. And so that's something to consider. The last point of my video is some downsides of the intuition, because I think that intuition is an amazing tool. I love it so much. It makes life so much smoother, but only if you are using it correctly. So some downsides of intuition is that what I call false intuition. Maybe, and this was the task which I told you at the beginning of this video, if you were totally honest about your intuition from the past, you would have to know that there were times where you were right about something and also where you were wrong about something. And so be honest and tell yourself, what are these times? And what could happen was that it could have been just these feelings. I was talking about this in great detail in my previous video about intuition. The link is gonna be in description, so I'm not gonna talk about it in here. But feelings are not the same way as intuition, and you should be honest to yourself if you really using your intuition, or if it's just your feelings and your reactions to some past events which might have been difficult for you, and you are just reacting out of fear. This is not intuition at all. Intuition comes from this peaceful place. It's not trying to scare you. It's not trying to do any harm to you. It's nothing like that. It's just this peaceful piece of wisdom which you receive and you don't know how or why. Another problem which you might encounter with intuition is also what I touched briefly in this video, is that it doesn't have to be intuition. It can be this self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like the example which I told you with my exam. When I expected that I'm just gonna do good on this exam, I relaxed and I was just able to do it. But I will never know if it was because of the intuition or if it was because I just believed it and I relaxed and I had a positive approach and I studied a lot. But I studied without being nervous, so I wasn't stressing out and blocking myself. And so this also could have played part in that, and I will never know this. So there's always something to think about, this self-fulfilling prophecy. Also, what happened to me, and I hope this won't happen to you, is that at one point I was overusing my intuition so much that I was just asking about every little thing. And sometimes I became even scared, like what's gonna happen to me if I'm not gonna listen to the intuition, because sometimes I just didn't want to use it. And so I tested out even this. I picked my courage and I did the exact opposite of what the intuition told me. And the truth is that nothing major happened, nothing horrible happened to me, which is great. I would generally advise to don't overuse it. And the last point of my video is that if you have intuition about something, don't be freaked out that you have to act on it. You don't have to act on anything. Even if you decide not to act on it, it's cool. You don't have to. Maybe when the time will settle and you will see that you want to act on it just by yourself, just that the intuition was in advance and you weren't ready, but maybe with time you will realize that you are ready. So the first thing, you don't have to act on it at all if you don't want to. And second thing, if you want to act on it but you are freaked out by it, you don't have to act on it immediately. If the intuition tells you that it's time to move, you don't have to do it right here, right now. You can roll it in your head for like a week or more and prepare yourself for that. Imagine different scenarios. Imagine like, where would you move? What would be upsides for that? What would you look forward to? And what are the upsides of living where you're living? Like, consider both positives and negatives and decide for yourself, you know. It's like with intuition. I love this one quote which says, follow your heart, but take your brain with you. I think this is exactly that. If you get an intuition about something, why shouldn't you follow it? But also, if you're freaked out by it, you can always think about it reasonably. You can evaluate for yourself, maybe you don't feel good in a current situation and it would really improve your life. So you can always use your reason as well. This is not one or the other. You can have intuition about something and then think about it for yourself, roll it in your head, like give yourself some time to breathe, and you will just feel much more relaxed and much more in tune with your intuition because you're not going to freak out by it. And also, my last advice for you is don't try to manipulate intuition the way I did, because intuition is like this beautiful butterfly which can like sit on your hand and you can have a great use just by looking at it and admiring it and seeing how everything is so peaceful. But also, if you try to catch it or squeeze it, you're just gonna ruin it. If you're gonna try to predict something or get some tangible benefit out of that, in my opinion, it's not gonna work. Maybe it will work for you. Maybe you are like some psychic or something like that. But what I can say, it didn't work for me. And that's everything for my today's video. I hope it had some value for you. This is basically what my channel is about. I like making videos about like this complex personal development and really give you various topics so that you can develop yourself and maybe think about areas of your life which maybe need some kind of development. I don't limit myself to some kind of specified niche. And if you like this video, I will be so glad if you subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, I will be glad if you give it a like or share it with a friend. And that's everything for my today's video. And have a nice now, and I will see you next time with my next video. Bye.